Hello everyone. My name is not important. What is important is knowledge of the world around you. I've now dedicated my life to documenting some of the most interesting creatures around the world. No, not the dangerous ones. Don't want to go around and die or anything. I'm interested not in the dangerous creatures, but in the creatures that I find the most interesting. Today, we will be taking an in-depth look at a creature that I find very interesting. A creature better known to the public as a common politician. Join me, if you dare, on this episode of Man vs. Mild. To begin this documentary, I would like to remind the audience these creatures are very similar to us. Much like us, these creatures have families, feelings, emotions, and fears. As strange as it may seem, these creatures are much more like us than you may want to believe. Let's start off with a simple question. What is a politician? Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines a politician as one with expertise in the art or science of government. For the purpose of this documentary, the two types of politicians that we will be looking at are going to be Congress and the President. First off, Congress. Congressmen are responsible for taking the concerns of the public and making legislation that would help make the nation a better place. However, that's not all that congressmen do. Congressmen have 5 main functions: lawmaking, representing the people, oversight, helping citizens, and educating the public. Lawmaking is a relatively simple function of Congress. Congressmen make laws through the relatively complex legislative process in order to make the nation a better place. However, even though this is the most well-known of Congress's functions, it is not their only function. Congressmen must also represent the people, and are able to do so either through trustee representation or sociological representation. Trustee representation is where the representative votes for his own opinions, not the opinions of the constituents. In sociological representation, the representative has been chosen due to the fact that his opinions are very similar to those of the constituents, and therefore by voting to his own opinion, he's also voting to the opinion of his constituents. Oversight is another function of Congress. Through the use of oversight, congressmen are able to ensure that laws go into effect properly. Another function of Congress is helping constituents. Congressmen are able to help constituents either through casework, pork, or a multitude of other ways. The final function of Congress is to educate the public on what's going on in the government. As one can tell, the daily life of a congressman is absolutely jam-packed. The other major politician that everyone knows is the president, who is constantly busy with his many political jobs. His main job is that he's supposed to ensure that laws are executed correctly and enforce the laws that Congress creates. Outside of enforcing laws, the president also has 7 roles. The first role is as chief of state. As chief of state, the president must be an inspiring example for the American people. His second role is as chief executive. As chief executive, the president is the boss of millions of executive workers. He has to decide how laws are to be enforced and choosing officers to run executive branches. The third role of the president is as chief diplomat. As chief diplomat, the president decides what we as a nation shall say to other foreign nations and governments. Basically, the idea behind this is that the president should be attempting to make peace between nations. The fourth role of the president is as commander-in-chief. As commander-in-chief, the president is in charge of U.S. Armed Forces. Relatively straightforward. The fifth role of the president is as chief legislator. And although the president does not have the power to make laws, since that is Congress's power, the president can still have a minor influence over lawmaking. The sixth role of the president is as chief of the party. As chief of the party, the president is attempting to help his political party gain more power and respect in the government. In order to do this, the president tends to give members of his political party office positions throughout the government. The seventh role of the president is as chief guardian of the economy. Now, although the president doesn't have singular power over the economy, he does have a great deal of influence over how the economy runs, and his job is to just ensure that the economy runs smoothly. With all of these roles on his plate, plus the job of enforcing laws throughout the nation, it's clear to tell that the president always has a schedule that is jam-packed with things to do. In the end, politicians are constantly busy attempting to make the government run smoothly, like a community of ants all working together for a common purpose. However, the life of a politician is not a safe one. A politician needs to be able to protect himself from the dangers of the world around him. Here we see George W. Bush, great politician, in front of a huge crowd. See how he looks so proper? But don't be fooled. This is actually a very elaborate form of camouflage. Many politicians use camouflage in order to disguise themselves and fool the public into thinking that they are much more proper than they really are. Oh, now we see George W. Bush in his natural habitat. Look at the differences. How he dresses, what he's doing, how he just looks is completely different from when he was in front of a huge crowd. This camouflage is an excellent defense mechanism and is present in many politicians. For example, Al Gore, Bill Clinton, and even Vice President Biden. Camouflage, however, is not a politician's only defense mechanism. Mimicry is also used between politicians. Often, in order to avoid issues with the public, a politician will mimic a successful politician who either was or is popular, thus protecting him or herself from the harsh criticism of the world around them, and attempting to maintain their style of living. Here are a few extra examples of political mimicry. Politicians, however, still can't avoid the public criticism through only camouflage and mimicry, so they also use predator confusion. In order to defend against the harsh criticism of the public, politicians must confuse their predators with big words and confoundingly difficult to understand promises. Here we see George Bush giving a speech so confusing that it seems that even he is confused by what he's saying. Look at this confusing question on this poor man's ballot. Absolutely confounding. This is just what politicians do. They confuse us in order to protect themselves. Survival of the fittest, my friends. Survival of the fittest. You see, this is why politicians use predator confusion. They hope that by confusing the public will just be too confuzzled to care and criticize the politicians, and, with their inability to understand what's going on, will lose interest in the political process. It's an absolute genius move, and it's absolutely gorgeous to witness in action. However, not all politicians are able to avoid criticism using all the other defense mechanisms, and as a result may feel trapped and ganged up on. As you see, the politicians may lash out in a way that is either violent or offensive. This tends to be a last-ditch effort, but it can be seen, and when it occurs, politicians tend to be very, very dangerous creatures. However, one can see why politicians would need such strong defense mechanisms. Lately, there has been a large amount of very harsh political cartoons that tend to criticize politicians on who they are or what they believe about politics. Well, that's all you need to know about these strange creatures known as politicians. Hopefully, through the use of this information, you'll be better prepared next time you encounter one of these bizarre beasts.